This is the Minolta 7000 35mm single lens reflex camera. Just to run through the specifications, it has a 50mm f1.7 Minolta Maxim AF lens. It focuses from 18 inches to infinity. It has a fixed SLR pentaprism and it has an LCD readout on the top. The shutter is vertically travelling metal blade shutter, which you can see here, and the shutter speeds are B, and then from 30 seconds to 1/2000th of a second. In automatic mode it's a stepless shutter, so it will go to intermediate speeds if necessary. The exposure meter is full program. It's got aperture priority, shutter priority, manual exposure. It's powered by 4 AA batteries that go in the holder here. The flash mount on this one is a traditional accessory shoe, although Minolta changed that in later models. The weight is, with the lens, it's 834 grams. Without the lens, it's 651 grams. This is a page from the instruction manual of the camera. The top box here is the LCD panel that you see on the top of the camera, and the bottom part is actually what you see when you look through the viewfinder of the camera. And here's the basic layout of the camera as described in the instruction book. It's not the quietest camera in the world, or indeed the quickest focusing. However, the focusing is pin sharp, the exposure is spot on, and where this camera scored a massive plus, although I didn't see it at the time, was that in this camera the autofocus is in the body. Now that's quite common these days, but this was the first camera to have inbuilt autofocus in the body rather than the lenses, which meant that the lenses therefore became cheaper and lighter as an ongoing purchase. The lens mount of the camera is quite wide, and that became an important advantage for the camera later on, but too late for Minolta. Minolta eventually sold all their tooling and all their technology to Sony, and the A mount that Minolta developed for this camera and subsequent cameras was used in the Minolta A series DSLRs. So if you have an A series DSLR, you can purchase a 50mm f1.7 lens which will fit on your camera for £30–40 second hand, and it's really quite a nice lens. So if you have an A series crop sensor or even a full frame sensor Sony camera, this little lens here will give you more bang for your bucks than almost anything on the market. And of course it means that if you do have an A series Sony camera, the existing vintage lenses are cheap as chips, and they work. They're really good. So these days, if you have the chance of buying one of these, I would say probably buy it only if you have a Sony. But if you do have a Sony, then this is an excellent little camera.